The HydroTurf Pro Watercross Tour is set to take on the emerald green waters and white sand beaches along the Gulf of Mexico as the Boardwalk Beach Resort and Hotel in Panama City Beach, Florida, plays host to the Super Cup of Watercross and all the pro riders for their second round of race action. Hello everyone, I'm Ian Howard and thanks again for joining us for Pro Watercross Racing as my colleague Mike Young has this update.
Hello everybody and welcome to Panama City Beach. Let's talk Runabout racing. Boy, I'll tell you, last week conditions were crazy. We had the world champion, Jared Moore, not able to do anything in Pensacola. However, conditions have changed. Panama City, everything is laying down and this kid is on fire. Check this out.
Moto 1 of 3 for Pro Runabout Open, led by round 1 winner, Aero Answar, defending world champion Jared Moore of South Africa, also in the lineup. And right off the bat, problems with Trey Frame's ski as he would stall it off the start, and Jared Moore would ride right up his backside, forcing Frame into the water with an injury.
Today at the start of this first moto, broke a drive shaft right out of the start, and Jared Moore ran it up my back, and it wasn't intentional, but it hit the same hip and knocked the wind out of me, and then kind of gathered my senses, got back to it. And
Frame would walk it off and get back into the moto, albeit in considerable pain, as we'd await a restart. And once again, Moto 1 underway, no red flags this time, as all the skis would go flying down the front straightaway, and the whole shot would go to Jared Moore of South Africa aboard his open ski after having problems last week and having to ride a stock ski, as he would look to take home the Moto win.
Riding on my own boat helps. Having the power to the first turn, I came out second, got it to the split and down the front straight, and from there I checked out.
Lap number 5. Moore would continue to lead it, looking for his first moto win of the season, and Brian Baldwin in hot pursuit, third in round number 1, with Armenia Tosca right behind him, who was second in round number 1. And on the final lap, Jared Moore would go the distance after recording the whole shot. He would capture his first moto win of the season with 2 motos remaining as you get a look at all your Moto 1 results.
Hey, we're going to go just check everything out tonight, and then tomorrow we got the second and third moto. And if the water stays like this, I think our setup's pretty good.
Pro Watercross Racing always attracts some of the best looking fans. And speaking of good looking, here's my colleague once again, Mike Young, with this update.
Folks, standing down here with the Eagle, Eric Francis. Eric, somewhat picking up where you left off last year.
I mean, I've always loved the Kawasaki in the rough, so I mean, this isn't too rough, but I mean, you're talking about a 1 to 2 foot chop. It's definitely, for me, I feel like I'm not at any disadvantage would be the best way to say it. I mean, is it an advantage? I feel so, but that's why I ride a Kawasaki.
As we get a look at the lineup now for a Pro Runabout stock led by defending national champion Eric Francis, from whom you just heard. And up front early on, the battle would be between Troy Snyder, who finished second of the points, and Eric Francis, who would sweep past them along the outside and grab the whole shot.
Down there, a lot of talented guys. Band staff, we came out pretty good. I think we came out about third off the line. Held a clean, line all the way around. Lucked out, got out front, took the outside split, beat Troy down the front straightaway, and just didn't do it on the track, man. Just rode real smart. It felt real good to get out front again.
So Francis with the whole shot, and on lap number 2, Blaine Spooner of Sunrise, Florida, would get a taste of the emerald green waters here in Panama City Beach, Florida, as he would go for a swim, knocked out of the race momentarily. Lap number 9, Troy Snyder in second would be challenged by the round 1 winner, Aero Answar of Indonesia, as the two would battle, and coming down the front straightaway, they'd come together and Snyder would go in the water.
He came completely across the rear end of the boat on my right side as I was getting ready to turn. He tried to stuff it in there. I had a full boat link on him. I'm not sure why he decided to get that aggressive on the last lap there like that, but it paid off for him. Hopefully karma doesn't come back around to him.
And on the final lap, Snyder would get help back to his ski and be a spectator, as Eric Francis would avoid the drama and go wire to wire for the Moto 1 victory. And Troy would be left to stew in his own thoughts as what could have been after running second in that opening moto, as you get a look at all the results with 2 motos remaining.
There's a lot of hype over the Yamahas in the off-season, so to go to the first round and get beat pretty bad, it feels really good to come to the second round and at least get a whole shot and a win on the first race. So good start to a good weekend, I feel.
Coverage of the Silver Cup of Watercross from Panama City Beach, Florida has been made possible by HydroTurf, Panama City Beach, Florida. Visit PanamaCityBeach.com. The Boardwalk Beach Resort, Sea-Doo, Yamaha, Jetlift, Optima Racing, Riva, Lotion, Goggle Grip.
There's a place where pristine white beaches meet fantastic water slides, where the Gulf's best fishing meets the Gulf's best shopping, and where being a tourist never gets in the way of being yourself. Isn't it time you discovered a place called Panama City Beach? Panama City Beach. Real, fun, beach. Plan your perfect Panama City Beach vacation at visitpanamacitybeach.com.
Well, we have, beautiful Gulf out there, and our beaches we go world's most beautiful beaches, and we stick by that. And enough lodging here, 16,000 rooms. When you have time to visit within the city, we have a lot of great award-winning restaurants, nightlife. We just have the total sports package.
When we ask our guests, when the CVB asks our guests, why do you pick Panama City Beach? They always say the #1 amenity is that beach. And you just look at it, I've been to the Caribbean, I've been all over the world, and we do have some of the most beautiful beaches. The sugar white sand, it's powdery, it feels good on your feet, and then the water that's like this emerald green color. It almost looks like the Caribbean, but we've got it right here in an affordable destination. So I think that's what keeps people coming back year after year.
And back to race action for Panama City Beach, Florida. Moto number 2 for a pro runabout stock led by Moto 1 winner Eric Francis, who just went wire to wire. Brian Baldwin wearing the onboard camera as he takes us through the start down that long front straightaway as you see all the skis take on the waters here of Panama City Beach, Florida. And once again, it would be Eric Francis getting the whole shot, his second consecutive whole shot of the afternoon.
The conditions flattened out, obviously, since last week, so we put in a tighter prop and a little more power through the ECU. And I mean, definitely made the ski get a good jump. And then the rest of it's just, knowledge of ride and surf, 14 years.
On board we go once again with Brian Baldwin, a second place finish back in Moto number 1. He also had a second place overall finish from the opening round of race action from Pensacola Beach, Florida, trying to stay with the leader, Francis. Then on lap number 2, Francis would continue to lead it with Troy Snyder riding behind him in second place, and Arrow Answar, damaged knee and all, making up a lot of ground through the splits as he would challenge Troy Snyder for that second spot on the race course. Lap number 3, Francis with a good-sized lead on Snyder, who was back in second, and Snyder talked about how he made the switch from seated to the Yamaha this season and all the challenges associated with it.
I've been on that FZR before. It's just in stock class prior to this year with the new motor that they came out with. It just didn't have quite the horsepower, but this year with that new motor, the new the supercharger that they have on it, intercooler, it's just one heck of a boat.
And on the final lap, Eric Francis would make it 2 consecutive moto wins as he would go wire to wire to open up round number 2 in the stock class. A perfect 2 for 2 and a great battle at the finish line between Troy Snyder coming through the outside split and Arrow Answar of Indonesia on the inside split, but Snyder able to hold off the 19-year-old and record a second place showing as you get a look at all the Moto 2 results.
We got to thank Kawasaki, Monster Energy, Mountain Motorsports, Farthing Racing, Quakey Sense, Hydra Turf, and Fly Racing.
Highlights now from Pro Runabout Open and their second moto. Defending world champion Jarek Moore won the opening moto in dominant fashion aboard his Sea-Doo. So the defending world champion rounding into form as we go on board with Brian Baldwin right off the start. Baldwin recorded a second place back in moto number 1. And once again, Jared Moore would capture the whole shot, his second consecutive of the afternoon. Jason Russo, what a start, as he would check out in second place with Arminio and Tosca right back in third, and Brian Baldwin fourth.
Yamaha makes so much power that the start, they're really good on the start, and I knew that if I got a good jump out of the gate that I could be right there.
Lap number 3, Moore would continue to lead it, no one even close. And Ian Tosca would move into the second spot as Russo would have some engine problems and be forced out of the race, as Arrow Answar would move into that third spot as he talked about the knee injury he suffered last week and how it affects him on the race course.
That's a torn ACL, and I got a major sprain on both tendons, inside and outside, so that's not cool. Tried to race the Pro Runabout Open, and it bothers me a lot.
And a look at Jason Russo being pulled off the race course after starting second behind Jared Moore. So a great start by Russo, but his engine just couldn't handle it just wound a little bit too tight. Fast forward to lap number 9, and Moore would begin lapping the field as he would make his move on Brian Baldwin. So a huge speed difference between the two skis, as Baldwin on a stock ski, his backup ski, unable to stay with the open modified ski of the leader, Jared Moore. And on the final lap, it would be Jared Moore once again taking home the moto win. So the South African, a perfect 2 for 2 on the weekend, as you get a look at all the overall results. And Pro Freestyle will be up next, so don't go away as you're watching the Super Cup of Watercross right here from Panama City Beach, Florida. Welcome back to the HydroTurf Pro Watercross Tour and round number 2, the Super Cup of Watercross from Panama City Beach, Florida. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ian Howard, and let's get this update now from Don Dawson before we head to Pro Freestyle.
I don't know, after last week, which was our first round in Pensacola Beach, I can't even tell you what to expect for the second round. It's going to be something epic, I'll tell you that for sure. Daniel Martin last week took an amazing win in Pro Freestyle with a double, that's right, a double backflip, never performed before in competition. So I can't wait, but I will tell you this. The competitors for Pro Freestyle, bar none, are some of the best in the business. Whatever they bring, you can expect it to be awesome.
And thanks, Don, as Jason Stoyer from Hollywood, Florida would take on the waters here of Panama City Beach, Florida after a third place showing in the opening round, and the Destroyer would put together an array of tricks, including multiple backflips, lots of amplitude, as Stoyer would get a lot of air as he would try to dazzle the judges and look for his first overall of the young season. And Stoyer would end up his routine hoping for some positive results in his first overall of the season, but he would be countered by the round 1 winner, Daniel Martin from Azell, Texas. Martin, the defending national champion, would come out and dazzle all the judges and the fans here from Panama City Beach, Florida, as he would once again look to take home the overall, making it 2 consecutive to open up the race season. And Martin last weekend, who attempted what no pro freestyle had ever done before, a double backflip. And Martin, a very solid routine here in the Emerald Waters, would finish up his second routine of the race season. But the question would be, would it be good enough for all the judges to declare him the winner for the second consecutive time? And as we look at the overall results, they would confirm that Daniel Martin for the second consecutive time would be the overall champion. So Martin, your points leader after 2 rounds.
Team Extreme, Jet Pilot, HydroTurf. We got Stoyer and Jace right here. You know, they're all good teammates. And let's see, Von Zipper, I'm trying to think of somebody else, AGS, and the whole crew. It's like everybody that puts on this event here in Panama, and it's a good day.
Let's get ready to rumble. I've always wanted to say that. But seriously, we had 18 GP ski boats on the line last week. It was ridiculous. And the potential this week is that we could have 19, which would mean, wait for it, qualifiers in Pro Ski GP. And I'm talking about luminaries like Chris Fischetti on the line, Rob Flores, of course, coming back to defend his national title. But that's not all. This young man right here on this 83 boat who was whipping it last week, Cody Copenhaver there, Dustin Matsuris, a ton more. Pro Ski GP, yeah, definitely going to be a rumble.
And thanks to Don Dawson for that GP ski update as we check out some highlights now from Moto number 1, led by 3-time former world champion Dustin Matsuris, as we go on board with Bill the Hurricane Haig, who would give us a rider's eye view of the start, and a tough break early on for returning veteran and former multi-time world champion Chris the Fish Fischetti, unable to get his ski to fire out the start, and getting the whole shot would be Dustin Matsuris from South Africa, who took home the overall from round number 1.
Got a good start. My Commander SXR, was flying. To be honest with you, I was a bit off my game today. I don't know why. I just wasn't feeling it. I think we needed to work on the handling setup a little bit for this water. I've just got this boat built right before the races.
Lap number 4, Matsuris, followed by Jimmy Wilson in his rearview mirror, who was 5th last weekend overall and gaining in confidence in this young race season.
And to know that you don't get the whole shot, I know that I can be there in the end. It's the first year that we've felt confident on and off the ski, physically and mechanically, which is awesome.
Lap number 6, and Matsuris would go down, and it would cost them the lead. as Jimmy Wilson, the young rider from North Carolina, would get past him and take over the race lead.
Actually, where he got me, I went into my split and the course marshal was floating in the middle of my split, and then took off in front of me and I hit his wake, and just weird stuff that like never really happens.
Final lap, and Jimmy Wilson would hang on for the win, upsetting the three-time former world champion and round one overall winner in Dustin Matsouras. So that would give Wilson a huge confidence boost, proving that he could run with the big boys. And afterwards, he would need to cool himself off after that hard-fought moto win, as we now turn our attention to moto number 2 and more highlights as Jimmy Wilson would try to make it 2 in a row, but checking out with the whole shot would be the defending national champion Rob Flores from Las Vegas, Nevada. So Flores would earn his first whole shot of the race season.
Got to be realistic. There's a handful of guys that are really fast that are all capable of winning, a moto or an overall. So I just got to run up there in the top, top 2 or 3, hopefully 1, but to get on the box.
Fast forward to lap number 6, and Flores would get caught up in lap traffic, and it would cost him his lead, as Dustin Matsouras from South Africa would take advantage, working to the inside and make the pass for the lead along the front straightaway. So Matsouras, showing why he's a 3-time former world champion, would push Flores wide and take command of moto number 2.
For 2 laps straight, I had a couple lappers that were, running their race. I can't blame them. They just didn't look back to see we were coming and, got out, to get out of the way. So they're racing too, but it's just, hey, that's part of it, and that's how he got me.
And on the final lap, Mats would make the comeback stick and stick it to Flores, taking home the Moto 2 victory. Flores right behind him, a close second, but not quite enough for the veteran rider from Las Vegas, Nevada. Moto number 3 now, the final one for GP Ski, as Wilson and Matsouras each with a moto victory, as we go on board with Bill Haig as we watch all the ski riders head down that long front straightaway. And this time it would be the youngster, 19-year-old Cody Copenhaver, who would get the whole shot.
Getting a good start and keeping it smooth on the start and getting over those waves. And there's a lot of guys out there, good guys, so it's good to get a good start and just stay consistent up front.
Lap number 3, and Bill Haig would be full throttle down the front straightaway and lose control of his ski, and it would cost him dearly, as he would go for a tumble in the water. He'd hang on to his ski, but he would lose 2 positions on the race course. Moving ahead to lap number 6, and Matsouras would come from behind for the 2nd consecutive moto, as he would overtake Copenhaver in the top turns. And on the final lap, Matsouras would once again hold on for the moto win, his 2nd consecutive, giving him 2 moto wins and 3 motos overall, as you get a look at the overall results, which combines all the finishes from our motos, and Dustin Matsouras once again on top. He's your round 2 champion.
Having Command Industries, especially as a stand-up program, is pretty tough to beat. And Steve obviously got my ski dialed in, got it sorted for today. And we came back and were able to win both motos.
You're watching Pro Watercross racing at Panama City Beach.
Coverage of the Silver Cup of Watercross from Panama City Beach, Florida has been made possible by HydroTurf, Panama City Beach, Florida. Visit PanamaCityBeach.com. The Boardwalk Beach Resort, Sea-Doo, Yamaha, Jetlift, Optima Racing, Riva, Lotion, Goggle Grip.
There's a place where pristine white beaches meet fantastic water slides, where the Gulf's best fishing meets the Gulf's best shopping, and where being a tourist never gets in the way of being yourself. Isn't it time you discovered a place called Panama City Beach? Panama City Beach. Real, fun, beach. Plan your perfect Panama City Beach vacation at visitpanamacitybeach.com.